Man, cause I ain't feeling nothing. This a king's speech. Have to spit this motherfucker through my big teeth. Trying to take the queen seat. Yeah, she's sitting on it now.
When I used this intro on yesterday's video, I didn't expect any of you guys to like it as much as you did. So if you guys can please help me out and do me one favor, that would be greatly appreciated. Basically, if you want me to go back to my old intro like this one right here, please leave a comment on this video saying, hey Eclihpse, please change back to the old intro. And if you guys like this intro that I had on this video, please leave a comment saying something like, hey, keep the intro you have on this video. And if you guys do like the current intro I have on right now, please leave some song suggestions that I can replace the song with, because right now I'm not super confident in the song on the video. Like, I want to change it, but I just don't know what I want to change it to. So please pause the video, leave a comment, and with that being said, let's get right into today's top 5. You better have left that comment. But today, we will be going over the top 5 most overpowered troops in Clash Royale. So when I say overpowered troops, I'm just kind of referring to the troop on its own. Basically, if you just put like any of the troops mentioned in this video down by themselves, they can pretty much do a good deal of damage without relying on supporting troops. Now, of course, when you're in a real battle, you aren't just going to put one troop down, but I figured that would be the best way to judge how good a troop really is. Coming into the number 5 spot, this is going to be the 3 Musketeers. So the thing about the 3 Musketeers is that they are expensive as hell. They cost 9 elixir, and most of the time you won't actually be able to play this troop until 2 times elixir actually happens. Now, although the 3 Musketeers do a lot of damage, like they can pretty much melt any troop on here, they get countered by pretty much almost anything. A fireball and a zap and fire spirits, basically anything can counter the 3 Musketeers, and that's kind of why they're so low on this list. But I'm just gonna kind of skip on over to a different battle here, and this dude spawned his 3 Musketeers on the enemy half, and at that point the dude was just pretty much done. He couldn't counter him, and the dude with the 3 Musketeers was just kicking ass, and it's for that reason right there that they take the number 5 spot. Coming in the number 4 spot, this is going to be the Giant Skeleton. Now, before any of you guys get a bit mad at me, let me explain. So the higher you get in trophies, it's pretty rare for your Giant Skeleton to actually reach the enemy tower. So the reason he's on this list isn't for an offensive standpoint, but more so from a defensive standpoint. If the enemy has just a whole bunch of barbarians, archers, or just kind of low hit point units, if the Giant Skeleton is in front of those troops, it is pretty much game over. Now, the replay in the background doesn't justify how good the Giant Skeleton is, because his bomb only takes out a few troops, but I'm sure all of you guys can relate to a time where all of your troops got wiped out to a Giant Skeleton, or I'm sure at one point or another you've wiped out all of the enemy's troops with the Giant Skeleton. Honestly, he's a pretty overpowered defensive troop when used right, and if he does get to the enemy tower, it's pretty much game over from there. Coming in the number 3 spot, this is going to be the Elixir Collector. So at first, I was kind of debating where I wanted this card to go in the list, because depending on who you talk to, some people will tell you, well, the Elixir Collector is the very best card in the game, and depending on others you talk to, some people might just hate the card. So I figured the perfect spot for the Collector would just be to put it right in the middle, because in Clash Royale, having an Elixir advantage is everything. If you have more Elixir, then the chances are you are going to win. And in this background right here, you see 2 people both running the Lava Hound with the Elixir Collector, and ever since this new patch came out where the Lava Hounds got a pretty big buff, a lot of people have been running a Hound cycle deck, and decks like this, or just expensive decks in general, are very independent or very dependent on the Elixir Collector. So if you look in this replay right here, the dude up top has 2 pumps, and this pretty much set him up for the rest of the battle. He was able to cycle through his cards, get his Lava Hounds out quicker, and overall though, the Elixir Collector is a pretty damn good card. It's just I couldn't really decide where to put it in this list. So with that being said, let's switch on over to the number 2 spot, and this card is going to be the Royal Giant. The Royal Giant is pretty much the princess on steroids. He can snipe a tower from pretty much across the entire arena, and he does a shit ton of damage on top of that, and not to mention he has a whole bunch of hit points, so he's pretty hard to counter. Basically, he's one of the best cards in the game at the moment. And what makes the Royal Giant even better is once you take out one tower, you can just put him right on the other half and go ahead and start sniping away the other tower. And the thing about the Royal Giant is that he's kind of like a love-hate relationship with me. Now, I love when I'm able to use him and just completely like annihilate people, but I hate when people use him against me and completely annihilate me. But to be completely honest, the Royal Giant is one of the best cards in the game. And with that being said, let's head on over to some honorable mentions. So for this video, there were a few cards I wanted to mention, but I just didn't feel like they were able to fit in this countdown. So as far as the honorable mentions go, we're gonna have this Zap, and the Zap spell is pretty damn good. A lot of people use the Zap to counter Sparky, take out small troops, take out minion hordes, and most importantly, to push with your Hog Rider. The next honorable mention is going to the Balloon, because the Balloon does a lot of damage, but the only problem is it is very slow, and more often than not, it dies before it can even get a bomb off. And the last honorable mention in this video is not going to the Lava Hound, but going to the Lava Pups. The Lava Pups are honestly really underestimated. They attack really fast, and before you know it, they might just take out one of your towers. So with that being said though, let's switch on over to the number 1 spot, and the most overpowered card in Clash Royale is Sparky. Now in this replay right here, we got some double penetration action going on. You have 2 Sparkies, not 1, but 2. This is literally my worst nightmare. And the thing about Sparky is once he fires 2 shots, they already have a tower taken. So literally 2 shots from Sparky equals rip and good game. Now some of you might argue, well, Sparky's fairly easy to counter if you have a Zap. And yes, that is true, but a good Sparky user can pretty much win no matter what the circumstances are. And the fact that it just takes Sparky 2 shots to destroy a tower is honestly mind-blowing. Like, Sparky, without a doubt, is the strongest / most overpowered card in Clash Royale. So guys, my name is Eclihpse. I hope you all enjoyed today's top 5 video. If you guys thought any of these troops are overpowered, please feel free to give the video a like below. And in case you thought I missed any cards, please let me know which cards you think are overpowered down in the comment section below. But with all that being said, guys, I hope you all enjoyed, and peace out.